discuss how Likkle ideas are transformed into big dreams. On the toolkit, and you will access a lot of resources. A lot of the information that we presented here today, there are a lot of activity sheets. So we encourage you to download some of that information. Also, there's a digital swag bag with Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Wednesday to you, and we are delighted to welcome you to another edition of Likkle Byte Ideas. Let me get my screen set up. And I am Doreed Whitlock. I am the Chief Marketing Officer of Samuel Fields Consulting Group. Today, I have a special co-host. My normal co-host, our CEO, Megan Samuel Fields, is unable to join us. So we have brought in Genesis Whitlock, who is a climate activist. She is a vegetarian, and she's also a student farmer. It is my pleasure to welcome Genesis Whitlock to the stage.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be
here. Hi, Jen. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you, Mom. How are you?
Great. Great. Welcome to the show. This is your maiden voyage, huh?
Yes.
I know you're going to do great. All righty. So our topic today, we are talking about, of course, I just found out in preparing for the show that January is called Veganuary. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Have you heard about that, Jen?
Veganuary.
Oh,
that's
wow.
My guess.
Was I the only one who did? So it's called what? So how is it pronounced? Veganuary?
I don't know, but I have heard of it. I say Veganuary, but yeah, it's really interesting because June 1st, people are setting up new goals, and one of them is to pivot to more plant-based lifestyles.
Fantastic. So our topic today is how veganism can improve your physical, environmental, and financial health. And of course, throughout the month of January, we have been focusing on financial wellness. It's Financial Wellness Month. And like you said, Jen, at the beginning of the year, we set all types of goals. It's resolution time. But as we say at SFCG, we want it to be more of a revolution, not just a resolution. And if you got our last newsletter, we talked about that. So we want to look at your entire well-being, not just your financial well-being, but your entire wellness should be in focus in January. And if you look at the backdrop that I have, it goes through all the various dimensions of wellness. So Jen is actually not a vegan, she's a vegetarian. Or she's a vegetarian right now. Well, we do have a vegetarian chef as our guest, and we're so delighted because we're going to be talking about veganism. And we're delighted to welcome Ashante Williams, and she is a vegan chef. We're delighted to be able to tap into her insights from not only a physical aspect, but the environment, and of course, how it affects our wallets. So welcome, Ashante. Welcome to Likkle Byte Ideas.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you. I just wanted to...
we're delighted. And we know that you're very busy.
Yeah, I am. I was just doing some orders and I was like, oh my God, I have to jump on this. I have to make it because, I love anything that speaks about wellness and anything that, of course, speaks about financial wellness and food. Food's my passion. So I must speak about food. And just to help you guys with the veganary, it's called Veganary.
Veganary. Okay. I knew it didn't roll off my tongue too right. Veganary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm glad to be here today and to talk about your whatever it is we can get to talking about and really entertain your your followers today.
Fantastic. Welcome once again. We also want to welcome our viewers online.
Mhm.
Call your friends if you had any. I mean, we're all more conscious about our health these days. And I think this is going to be a great discussion about how we can focus on the mind, the body, the environment, and of course, our wallets. So, Genesis, let me start with you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey as far as a vegetarian, and then we'll go back to Ashanti, because Ashanti is opening her restaurant at a new location tomorrow. So so the timing is great because we want to hear all about your venture, how we can help you spread the word, and also spread the word about the benefits of veganism. It's something I think all of us have considered, but we want to get the insider tips from you, and also look at the entrepreneurial opportunities in that whole vegan lifestyle and movement. So, Genesis, tell us about your experience as a student farmer, a vegetarian, the environment, and then we'll come back to Ashanti.
Absolutely. So, similar to Ashanti, I'm very passionate about food, all dimensions of food, the cultural aspects, the joy that it brings, and the impact that it has on the environment. And so, I've been vegetarian on and off for about 2 years, and I also practice veganism since my teens, on and off. And I've pivoted to trying to develop an eating ethic. I work on a farm that also produces livestock, and in Antigua, there are lots of communities who eat fish and other local cuisines. So, in the United States, I live in Pennsylvania, and there's very limited access to fish. And even though I do have access to quality, ethical, or what some would describe as ethical meat for my own spiritual practice and my own health, I've primarily focused on eating a plant based diet in the United States. And as a college student, there are definitely some challenges to overcome. But I really enjoy the creativity that comes from being able to make new meals and try different things with my friends and start those conversations about food. So, yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
Fantastic. Well, I picked the right co-host, and hopefully we'll have you back for other shows. But once we came up with this topic, I said, let's see if we can get you on. I know you're very busy, so we really appreciate you taking some time to have this discussion with us. So, Ashanti, let's come back to you. Exciting time. You have a restaurant. It's not a new restaurant. You're telling us it's a
No.
new location. Tell us a little bit about your background, your journey as a vegan, and also let's just roll right into your venture that we're all excited for you about.
Okay. I have a very long background. I am young, but I my resume is pretty long. So I'll try to summarize it
We
as
have
much as
time.
I'll summarize it as much as I can. So originally, I've always been very passionate about food and accounting and science.
Mm.
So in school, I became one of the top
Interesting.
accounting student. Right? I agree. I'm a very multifaceted human being, and multi-talented. So
Fantastic.
I decided when I was in college, in state college here, I was studying maths, accounting, and everything. And then I was like, no, my real passion is I love to bake, I love to cook, and I ended up finishing college and I went straight into ABHTI where I pursued culinary arts and I have my degree in culinary arts. And from there, I went into the industry and I worked in quite a few places. I worked along a lot of very famous chefs, very well, to name a few, we can say Jumbi Bay. I worked at Jumbi Bay. I worked at St. James Club. I worked a lot of places. Sandals. That was my first job at 18. So I started this when I was 18 years old, and then I
Wow.
kind of, yeah, dabbled here and there because I was very hungry when it came to I want to learn. I want to learn. I didn't get to go to university, even though I did pass. I got accepted into French Culinary Institute in New York, but that was a lot of money, so I didn't go. Instead, I just worked, and my dream was always to open my own restaurant, as most chefs are, but not every chef end up opening theirs. But I did, and I eventually became a self-taught pastry chef, and I opened a business called Guilty Consumption, which this upcoming month, February 15th, will make it 9 years since I opened my business. I became an official entrepreneur, and I think my cat's making noises. Can you guys hear my cat?
Okay, but it's not a problem.
It's fine. So I ended up starting that business, and I became well known for cheesecakes here in Antigua.
Mm.
So I was making all sorts of flavors, just
Oh, wow.
experimenting, and I really dominated here with cakes.
Tell
and
us some of the
desserts.
flavors. I'd love to hear about this.
So like the well-known one is a Bailey's chocolate cheesecake. I have cakes that are cheesecake cakes. We call it heaven. So it's like a
Mm,
cake, like it looks like a normal cake, but when you cut into it, it's like cheesecake, and it's soaked with rum, and there's a cookies and cream Bailey's cheesecake inside. There's like crazy flavors.
wow.
Oh,
Red velvet, devil's food cheesecakes, like loaded. And people used to come to me for these cakes, and I became very well known internationally as well because I won quite a few grants. I represented Antigua with the U.S. Embassy at what we call Young Leaders of America Initiative. So out of 2,000 plus people that
Hmm.
applied across the Americas, the Latin Americas, and the Caribbean, I was one of two presidents who was selected in 2021 to represent Antigua. That was an amazing experience. And then I did quite a few with the UNDP, with Frankfurt College. So I was busy as an entrepreneur, not just a chef, not just a baker. I was well-known entrepreneur, which then allowed me to, I guess, I started to feel a little bit guilty because, I mean, no pun intended, because my business was called Guilty Consumption.
right.
And I ended up, people coming in and then, oh my God, you look so slim and trim, and we are just eating all your cakes, and we're getting fat, and this and that. And then I was like, oh my God, you guys are so right. So I felt a little bit guilty about that. And eventually, I personally was on a like spiritual journey. I think for some reason, as an entrepreneur, you kind of go on that journey. You either become like very corporate, or you become this spiritual butterfly. And I went the spiritual butterfly route. And I think most persons that become vegan are always like, they say how you eat, what you put in your body is, it helps you amplify that journey. And I was very curious about it. So I tried the first time to be a vegan for a week, and that was a disaster. Don't ever try to go cold turkey vegan. Yeah, that was the worst thing I ever did. I paid
Wow.
for it daily in my stomach. And at the time there wasn't much vendors or people that I can go to, given that I was a very busy entrepreneur as well. So I didn't really think that through. And eventually, I was still a vegan while I was running my business, and yeah, it wasn't aligning with me. And that's why this business now called Metanoia has been created. And I started this last year after launching my what you call it, my company, which is a tour company. And I just it's been an interesting journey so far, which I can announce that we just got recognized by National Geographic for the Best of the World 2024. It's a tour that is compiled of yoga, food, wellness, and sustainability. And our company's name is A Mental Wellness Journeys. And we just got this huge surprise yesterday, my husband and I, because he's a yoga instructor, and he's everything well. So the fact that Nat Geo that I grew up watching in my grandmother's house literally think that we're dope was like crazy. Like we're still up there with it, but we're like, yeah, we're calming down.
Yes.
That is phenomenal. That is
It is.
phenomenal.
It is.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And then tomorrow we open
Yep.
Metanoia. You were asking me before, like, what does Metanoia mean? And everything I do has meaning, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it means. Firstly, the word metanoia is Greek, and I had to hit up my Greek friends to make sure that it is what it is, because, we're not trying to say things that we don't.
I know.
The meaning is the journey of changing one's mind, heart, self, or way of life, spiritual conversion. And I believe that in life we have ups and downs, dark times, good times, and just the thought of consciously saying, hey, I'm going in this direction is powerful. And it is a beautiful transition. And like, I want to help people, assist them on that journey, and to show them that it's not that bad. It's really not. And we don't just eat grass. There's a bunch of creative things going on right now, as Genesis said.
Well, we want to get into all of that because I want to learn more about it. But you know what? For our listeners in particular who may not be as familiar, everyone hears about veganism and vegans versus vegetarians, and there are all these terminologies that are bandied about. But tell us, Ashante, how do you define a vegan lifestyle?
To me, vegan lifestyle, now, this is funny. So there's many types of vegans. You can have somebody that just chooses to be a vegan because they just don't want to eat animals because they are worried more about the animals. And then you can have people that they don't eat processed food and they just eat raw. They're alkaline vegans. There's quite a few variety of them. And there's people that only drink liquids and then they don't eat food. And, so it really is dependent on where you are and what you want to do. And I think there's this misconception that all they do is eat salads, so that's why you see sometimes if you go to a restaurant as a vegan,
sprouts.
We have salad, and then you have people that do like Rastafarian community and they do ITIL, so they tend to have a lot of provision and rice and a lot of starch, but it really is so broad. You can do anything, and vegetarians, there's vegetarians, they eat fish, eggs, cheese, as well, and pescatarian, they eat seafood only and vegetables as well. So there's a combination of things rather than just one thing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell us about some of the health benefits. A lot of times when people adapt this lifestyle, I think at the core of it are health concerns and, starting a spiritual journey, yes, but in a lot of instances, it's driven by health. So tell us what some of the health benefits are in adapting a vegan lifestyle.
Okay, so I will clear the air. Not because you're a vegan means that you're healthy, one. And a lot of vegan could be eating full meats. They could be eating a lot of genetically modified foods, which are made in labs. They could be drinking a bottle that says 100% juice, but it's from concentrate or anything like that. And not because you say, okay, I'm going plant-based, mean that you are healthy. So there's that. Now, what a healthy diet is made up of macronutrients, which is protein, carbohydrates, and fats. So people think, oh, I don't want to eat fat because it makes me fat, but then there's healthy fats. And the having the knowledge of what it is to have a balanced diet. And a lot of people do not know what it means to have a balanced diet. So if you have a plate full of macaroni, rice, potatoes, that's not a balanced diet. And people think that, oh, I'm just going to omit the meat, omit the fish, and that means it's healthy. That doesn't mean that. Or you could say, oh, I eat salads, but I drink soda. that's not a balanced diet because sodas are
Right.
packed with sugar and it's acidic. So when it comes to, let's say, most people wait until they're practically on their deathbed or having cancer to then say, hey, now I'm gonna actually do it because my doctor's forcing me to do it. And
Right.
what the what I think we should be doing is not doing it because just of our health reasons, as in we waiting until we get sick to then do it, but to understand that it's just a matter of you choosing to have a good lifestyle and to feel good, and to know that, okay, even though I'm eating steak, I could choose, as Genesis said, like ethical steak, that they raise them well and they're not, in abusive situations, the environment's clean, and or you kill it yourself. Most people would never eat meat if they had to go and kill it themselves. And
Right.
that's ethical actually. You raising your animals and you slaughtering themselves, because it has changed. If you go back into history, that's what they used to do, and it was a privilege to have animals and to be able to slaughter. You were rich if you had animals, and now we can just go on in the supermarkets and just pick them up, and you have no idea where it's coming from, who's the farmer, if they even care if the animal was sick. I mean, if you drink water and you put, let's say, medicine in it, it's the same thing. If you drink it, you can get poisoned. What makes you think if the animal is not poisoned already before it's dead that it doesn't affect your body? And it's veganism, I think, is more of a mindful thing of being aware of what you put
Hmm.
in your body. And even if you know it is that, you're good. Like, it's just being mindful. And let's say you get sick and you're not gonna be, oh my god, I'm sick. I mean,
Mm,
what is your lifestyle like, you know?
Very
absolutely.
interesting.
Yeah, I really appreciate the point that you're bringing up about mindfulness
Yeah.
because it's really about having a sense of better relationship with the
Hmm.
systems that you're interacting
Hmm.
with, whether it be the natural system, the environment, your own nervous system,
Yeah.
to being able to recognize your health. Yeah, it's more about a mindset because, as you said, a vegan can easily eat McDonald's or like fast food every day,
Yeah.
if it were to be French fries or macaroni and cheese, or also be ingesting, as you say, factory farmed or
Hmm.
genetically modified meat or genetically modified crops. But I really appreciate this idea of mindfulness
Hmm.
where you can actively pivot to more organic produce or other forms of produce that are, even if that were for some people to include meat, it's still
Yeah.
about having an ethic. And so
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you can speak more about your experience interacting with food from all these dimensions
Hmm.
as a food artist,
Hmm.
as an accountant, as a scientist. How do you feel like your relationship with food is sort of creating balance within your own life and your relationship to the food system in Antigua?
Ah, that's a loaded question. That's a good
Right.
question and a loaded question.
Yeah.
Um, and as I said before, it comes down to mindfulness. Now, a lot of people, they see mindfulness is trending, and it's like, no, it's not the kumbaya. Mindfulness is just knowing that you're probably having a hard time in your life.
Mm,
That you're that, I'm going through a hard time in my life, and let's say maybe your finances are low and you don't have the privilege to go and buy food that are, you know, healthy for you. And there's that guilt around, oh my God, I'm just trying to survive. No, and it all ties together where finances, the law of attraction, the getting your mind right,
right.
everything is so tied in, because I can tell you from my experience when I first started, I started because I was going through something very traumatic, and at that moment, well, I was experiencing grief, and at that moment I just didn't want to see anything dead. And it
Mm,
wasn't oh, I just don't want to, I want to protect the animals or anything that I was going through, a grief, and it was, I just couldn't eat meat. That's it.
Mhm.
Plain old. Anything dead. Not specifically meat, anything dead. So I transform my life, and I use that to help myself come out of a dark space. And it comes back down to mindfulness. And as a creative, as a chef, I realize that we are in a space and time where now they're using this opportunity where people can have well food. I mean, we're born into abundance, and they
Well
are using
said.
it. They're using it to make money, to become billionaires off of the fact that we are born and there's a tree outside that nobody owns and you can eat for the rest of your life if you want. They use the paper money to control how well we choose to be,
Mm.
and it's a mind. I mean, what can I say? It's you see, as a creative, as somebody that's educated, as somebody that's spiritual, I could see the spiritual warfare that
Mhm.
is there attacking our people, specifically Black people. Not to say that everybody else is not affected, but Black people more are affected by the food. And there is positivity in the sense of a lot of people are bringing it to light by really speaking up and showing the facts that things are going haywire, and they're pumping the fast foods, the culture that we Black people love fried foods and we love this, but we have a pandemic of diabetes and hypertension and so many diseases that are really specifically centered around Black people just because of culture, and we think, oh, we're too poor, and we glorify the, oh, when the ancestors used to eat it, we just decided to keep it because the master gave us the not so good bits to eat,
Mhm.
and we still hold on to those traumatic, unhealthy lifestyles.
Mm.
And, you know, on this journey, I've learned so much about history, about money, about law of attraction,
Mm.
about how you can choose to live a good lifestyle regardless of what is going on around you. And it really all comes down to choice. And I know sometimes we think, okay, well, we can't afford to buy this fruit, but we will religiously treat ourselves to KFC. It's a
Yes.
choice. And you think that KFC is a treat, but you don't know that KFC has so many different chemicals that
Right.
are affecting you, and you don't even know what is in it, and you
Right.
are blindly going and buy it.
It's a sedative.
It is.
Yeah.
And
So
it's
you're saving cents and throwing away dollars in
yeah,
the long run.
yeah. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to cancer and all of the diseases that the big pharma makes money off of, then we are here like trying to scamper and get money and get GoFundMe to please help me save my mom, please help me save my dad, or
Yes.
because they're sick. But what were they doing before? And it's not to be insensitive, but why do we wait until it's doomsday to actually do something rather
Mm.
than you have the choice? Like, why do you need somebody to put a gun to your head or debt to be knocking at your door to then say, you know what, I want to live and I want to eat well because I have to, when we can really and truly today say, hey, I don't know what is in it and I'm not sure, and I'm gonna put it down because I'm not sure. Instead of, I can get up today and go in my backyard or anything and pick my food, and I can go across the street to the man that slaughters the pigs or whatever it is that people eat and say, hey, I'm supporting you at the same time, but I know how he deals with his animals because I already know.
Right.
And it's people think that what we and how we were living before was underdeveloped, or whatever they
Hmm.
perceive to be wealth was what they call caveman days. They were
Mm,
probably the healthiest. People were living the longest back then, you know? We have people dying that's
Absolutely.
40 something, 30 something from heart attacks. What?
mm.
And what I hear you saying, Ashanti, this is a whole, it's about a consciousness, it's a movement, it's a
It is.
lifestyle.
It is. It is.
Let us take a break. This has been so interesting and lots of information rolled into this. I mean, I definitely hear the health benefits, the physical wellness. You've
Mm-hmm.
definitely given us a sneak peek into the financial wellness part of it, how you can save
Mm-hmm.
money, not only in the
Mm-hmm.
short term, but in the long term. And then, of
Yeah.
course, the environment, we touched on that as well. But Genesis, I'd like us to acknowledge our guests, and I need your assistance going through our comments today.
Yeah, absolutely. Um,
So
it's
let's get them up on the screen.
so there's not an option for me to show the comments, um, but I can
Let's see
read
if I
them
can.
aloud.
Let me see if I can do it. Okay, there
Oh,
you go.
hi Jen. And then there's a comment about the vegan cakes, which I'm very curious about. And lastly, Ashanti, you rocks with a bunch of hearts.
Fantastic. Thank you for those comments from our guests. Ashanti is really a powerhouse and really a wealth of knowledge on this issue of veganism. And of course, as she's shared with us, she also is a very, very accomplished entrepreneur. And again, we congratulate her on her recent award and acknowledgement from National Geographic. That is definitely let's get that in the paper. That's definitely something that needs to be celebrated.
Yeah.
But Ashanti, I want to talk about the whole movement of veganism. Is it something that's catching on in Antigua? How popular is it?
At
Based
that.
since you started, have you seen a lot of growth, a lot of interest in veganism?
Um, I don't want to say no, but we have a lot of work to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a lot of people that are making it a joke. They're like, you and your grass, or that kind of mentality. And they think, well, I try my best when it comes to what I do. I try my best not to push that, oh, it's like chicken. I'm not trying to replicate anything to be like anything. It is what it is. I'm going to tell you this is it. But sometimes, and I've learned that I'm supposed to not say that it's plant-based. I have to, because as soon as you say that it's plant-based, what we say, they skin up their face. They
Right.
still do that. So I make
Doesn't sound exciting.
amazing.
Doesn't sound
No,
sexy.
no, apparently it doesn't. And a lot of us, we have to. It's almost like when you have a child and you have to shape their food for them to
Mm-hmm.
like it, or
Right.
make airplane sounds. Like I realized that I have to actually spoon feed people. And I mean, I'm really tired, but I know it's bigger than me, and that's why I've started a business, and having to, I mean, that's what entrepreneurs are. We are here to change our community and lead.
Mm-hmm.
People think that our prime ministers and our presidents are the leaders, but it's actually the people that are in the community, and who
Absolutely.
who actually takes up the mantle to, help however we can.
No, that's it. That's very, very true. Now,
Yeah.
what other aspects? Of course, when we think of veganism, of course, our diet,
Mm-hmm.
our food. But what other aspects of our life can we apply veganism, and also what opportunities are out there for young entrepreneurs to be a part of this movement?
Well, break it down for me. Do you mean
Well,
more
I
like
I
mindfulness or
know I know
mental?
health and beauty and fashion,
Okay,
are some of
okay.
the areas where
Yes.
veganism is growing.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen
Okay,
any
so
opportunities for that in Antigua and Barbuda?
yes. So we do have people that like to buy, like for example, these jewelry. This is copper jewelry,
Mm-hmm.
and brand. Like my husband make these, and
Oh,
these are very
fantastic.
good for arthritis and wearing cotton clothing. So a lot of people don't know as well, like what we wear matters,
Mm-hmm.
and frequency and energy everything matters. And we push out a lot of polyester, and if it's not from the earth, cotton. And I get it, we still have a little PTSD when we hear that cotton. And there's a lot of opportunities for us to continue that. Like Black people need to tap into the ancestors and start to grow cotton. Yeah,
Yes.
it's money. I mean, they killed a lot of people to have us here just to do that. Like, why
Mhm.
haven't we thought that that is actually something we're supposed to do? And
Why
I
haven't
get
we
it.
caught
I
on?
get it.
Yep.
Yeah, I get it. But
Caught on.
it,
That's a pretty good pun.
hmm right? It is. Um, so there's a lot of opportunities, and right now the world
Mm-hmm.
is going in the direction of wellness, and now is the time to take advantage of it.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I've, National Geographic is literally saying it. This is the first year they're pushing wellness. This is the first year. So the fact that one of the biggest companies in the universe is literally pushing this, that is enough to tell us that it's time to get it together. And it's time to, how can we participate in saving the earth? One, because climate change is a thing. However, we all know in the spiritual world that earth has been here for many years, and ain't no way no human is going to destroy it. She's not going to
Mm-hmm.
sit back. She's not going to sit back and let us just violate her. She is doing her thing. And I think we're going through a drastic shift and a nice cleanse. It's good for us. And it's for who wants to get up and get the call and do what we're supposed to do. And right now is the best time for our people to actually tap into abundance. It's literally like, here, all you have to do is ask.
Mm,
Yes.
well
Yes. So
said.
that's the environmental piece of it for sure. For
I'm
sure.
wondering I'm wondering if you can speak a bit more about what ancestral healing could look like within the Antiguan food system.
Hmm.
I've been doing a little bit of research about the colonial transition of food, where we switched from our ancestral crops to the high, um, like very processed food and high in sugar content and sodium content. Um, and yeah, I'm very curious about tapping into that ancestral abundance and reclaiming some of our crops could look like. Are you interested in incorporating ancestral crops into your food? That sort of.
Okay, so I'm not sure what you study in university, if you can share.
Oh,
What do
uh,
you study?
I study environmental science, economics, and then I dabble in Africana studies.
I figured. So I think you know that. I don't know if you've heard that our ancestors came here when we had braids. They used to plant the seeds. They used to put the seeds inside of their hair. So
Right.
we have like Aki, and we have all sorts of things that come from Africa, specifically Ghana and Africa and Antigua and Jamaica. A lot of us come from Ghana, and I have had people from Ghana say this, that when they come to Antigua, it looks like Ghana, and the people actually look like people in that part of the world. So the diaspora is literally, we have to tap in, and in order for us to tap in, it comes down to religion.
Mm,
We have to get rid of the colonizers' religion, and voodoo and hoodoo and all of these things that we were taught. And I'm not gonna say we deliberately shun it, but and by the way, I don't practice. I'm just saying that that is what it is, and that's something I do study, because I study a lot of different types of religion. I don't identify what they use now, identify with any religion, but I'm very open to knowledge and learning history around anything. And I think that once we have an open mind as to where things come from, why things happen, just asking that question, why, is huge. You
mm,
need to know why. You don't
Mm-hmm.
just sit back and be like, oh my God, like, that's it. you're gonna take it for whatever they say, and this is how it is. And I get it. As children, we grew into certain things, but children have the power to still end up asking why. And I think at the end of the day, once we can tap into where we come from, as much as possible, and there's so much opportunities right now to tap into our ancestral history. It's literally coming and like boosting out of everywhere. Once you are able to want to know, and I said this, ask the universe for whatever it is you need, it literally starts popping up in your space and aligning you specifically to the information that you need. And sometimes we don't even have to look outside of ourselves. We can ask our ancestors within, and they will show you. You might think that I always love cooking and I always love baking. So I'll give a personal story. So my family, my father's side, I always wondered. I didn't really grow up with them, and I don't really know their personalities. And now that I'm in my 30s, I now meet that side of my family, and I'm like, wow, we're so alike. It's so crazy. And just their mindsets and everything, their drive to become entrepreneurs, and any, and my gift, like a few aunties, they have the same gifts like me, where we cook, we're entrepreneurs, we're hustlers, we can get up. Once we say we do something, we're gonna do it. And then I found out as well that my great grandmother was a baker, one of the best bakers, and my grandmother was the best bakers, but I never grew up with them and I didn't know. And then my dad told me, like, yeah, didn't you know? Like, if he told me, like I was supposed to know. And, I was like very grateful to know that my ancestors were well known in the community for the ladies that made everybody's birthday cakes. And I just went into that direction without knowing. So sometimes we have gifts
Following
that
your
are
roots.
from ancestors. It's all in your roots. And it's for us to tap in.
Yep.
And even if you think, okay, farmer, that's like poor man's job. To people don't even understand the wealth. The wealthiest people in America, Genesis, I'm sure you know, what do they have?
Land.
Yes.
Farm, lands.
Farms.
And we over here trying to be what? Lawyers, doctors, and they don't have money compared to these people. And
Yep.
like, why haven't we realized that that's where the money resides?
Right.
Because we've been told.
That's amazing. That's such a
We've been
powerful
told,
connection.
right? It's looking, paying attention to what is happening. Not social media, not content creation, because it's distracting us from it. It's right now, it's about the money, and the wealth right now is foods, seeds. Like, that's where it is. So if it is that you're in a place where you have natural resources that you can go outside and pick food, that's wealth right now. And it's easy for people to blow up and get money online, but they have no idea that in the next couple of years, the wealth is going to be how much land you have, how much minerals, how many resources do you have. And we're not talking about just money.
And food security.
That is it.
I mean, COVID taught us, how critical that is. But Ashante, we are winding down, and this has been, you definitely have to come back. This conversation went over, above and beyond what I anticipated. What about you, Jen?
Oh, I'm feeling very privileged to be part of this conversation. Thank you.
This was great. But you have such an exciting opening happening tomorrow. We have people who are watching now and people who come later to watch it on YouTube. So we want to give you an opportunity to really tell people more about your business, how they can be a part of the vegan movement. That's another question I had. I mean, is there a vegan movement in Antigua for people who may be interested in learning more or joining it? So let's start with your business, and then tell us, for those who are interested in the lifestyle, either to be participants or maybe even to be entrepreneurs. I'm not sure if you can be an entrepreneur in this space if you don't dibble and dabble in it somehow. So tell us about your big opening tomorrow.
Okay, so tomorrow I am doing a lovely opening for my fellow vegans and, of course, regular people that just love good food. It's really about comfort food, and for people to explore different things. So I like to tell people it's really not about plant based. It's really about, do you just love good food? Because it
Mm-hmm.
really is. And I mean, I'm an experienced chef. I've worked with so many chefs across the world, and I am telling you guys, I myself is flabbergasted by everything that I make and experiment with, because I'm like, how in the world does this taste like this?
Mm-hmm.
It's good to experience stuff, because at the end of the day, we're only here to experience things and not to be in a place of being super critical all the time.
Mm.
And I've been playing around with stuff, and really, this is my play, to be honest. And that's why I only do it from Thursday to Saturday, just
Mm-hmm.
to play around and to
Fantastic.
really have people full joy foods. And we try our best to use very good ingredients. So I mean, right now we're working with sugar still, but we use brown sugar. We don't use white sugar in anything. And most of our stuff are organic. We try our best because it's really hard to source it here. And we use like spelt flour. We haven't done gluten free as yet. I know my gluten free people are like, "What about us?" I
We
get
may
it.
have a lead for you. We may have a lead
I
for you
know. I get
locally.
it. I get it.
We may
So
have
that's
somebody
what
who can help you out with the flour and the gluten-free
let
products.
me.
No, I'm serious. My mom is into that stuff, making
Yeah.
cassava flour and all types of
Wow.
different types of flour. But where are you located? Where can people? You said you're
Okay.
open from Thursday. You're only open over the weekend, so Thursday
Yeah.
to Sunday.
Thursday
And
to
where are you
Saturday.
located?
So
Thursday to
from
Saturday. Sorry.
7 to 10 p.m. And we are located, I don't know if people know where Premier Beverages is. What should I say? Okay, Deanery Ground, Lions.
Yes.
Once you pass Lions, like you head into Woods, the
Mm-hmm.
roundabout, that new roundabout that they just built up, and you pass the roundabout like you're heading to Woods, and there's a big warehouse right by the roundabout on the right. That is called Premier Beverages, and I'm the second house after it. So we'll have the gate open. I'll make sure to have lights and stuff so people can see. I don't have a sign as yet, soon. And then they can come, they can actually sit if they want. It's very backyard style, guys. It's not a fancy restaurant. It's
Mm-hmm.
a come and chill with us. You can pick up, you could leave, you could sit, we can have
How
music
many? How
playing.
as far as seating, just so people know
I
the
have
size of parties they can bring. How much seating do you have?
you can bring a party, we can stand.
Okay, I got you. I
However,
got
we
you.
we have
Do you have a
benches, we have
website, Instagram page so that people can learn
Instagram.
more?
Instagram. So I am a Metanoia underscore AG268. That's my Instagram handle, or on Facebook it's just Metanoia. That's Metanoia. That's how you spell Metanoia.
Hmm.
And we'll be out here having the time of our lives. And my goal is to, what should I say? I love to go out, and for some reason there's not much things for us to do. And I when I say things to do, I mean like wholesome things like dancing and good bands, and we don't serve alcohol, so that's the next thing, because we don't believe in selling people poison, because it's
Can you bring
poison.
your own bottle?
You can, you
Okay.
can you can
Hmm.
you can bring your
Okay,
bottle,
that's
but
good to
we
know.
we because of our ethics,
BYOB.
we can't serve you alcohol, because we know what it
Hmm.
does. Probably in the future we'll do kombucha, probably,
Ah,
because
Oh
that's
my
good for
goodness, we have to speak after the show. We
yeah.
have the hookup for you. No,
Yes.
seriously,
Okay. All right. So
that's
we,
great.
if you want to come and vibe, I mean, eventually, we want to do dominoes. We want to have like poetry nights, jazz nights, because I know I'm part of the poetry community. I love poetry. I love music. I love jazz. I love dancing. So I'm trying not to overdo on Fries Hill Road, but if we gotta take over the street, we will take over the street. That's the vibe.
That is
Yeah.
fantastic. Fantastic. Now, Jen, do you have any? Let's see if we have any additional comments since your last. I think we have a couple.
Mm-hmm.
yep, definitely. Some more. Oh, let's see. Are these popping up on your end? Hmm.
Oh, I
Go
want to
ahead.
also plug this as well. So besides my business that I'm opening up like tomorrow, I do meal kits. So this is for people that actually are on this journey and want help. So I do meal kits and I do grocery shopping for people. So people don't know the reasons people don't go vegan. They're like, oh my God, it's too expensive. Oh my God, I don't know where to go. I'm your girl because I know where to go and I'm gonna
So
help you
what comes in
find
the meal kit? The
meal kits.
the groceries as well as recipes?
No. So the
Or do you
grocery
prepare?
shopping, the grocery shopping service is you just go on. It's almost like you send me a list and I source your goods and then I have the box for you and you pay for it. That's how that works. Now the meal kits now, it's almost like HelloFresh. Almost. It's not that advanced, but I don't give you the recipes. I still cook for you. So let's
Right.
say you're a family of 4 and you're a mom and you only want me to cook for you for 2 nights. You can choose breakfast, dinner, whatever it is. You can go in and select it. It's all priced there for you. We do chlorophylls, we do certain types of teas. You could select things. Like right now, I have a client, he needs breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. So I do that because he's trying to lose weight and he doesn't have the time to cook. So it's flexible to you, and then you can choose what type of meal you want, and we make it, package it, and give it to you, and then you have it for your week or whatever the case may be. So that is all on my Instagram and on my Facebook.
Fantastic. No, I'm happy we're having this conversation. And I think like I said, I think we have the ideal partner for you based on some programs that we're talking about and ideas that we have. So we'll definitely connect once the show is over. Jen, let's just run through a few of we have quite a few comments. Let's see if I don't know who Julie Mango Phillip is, but she seems to be a fan of yours.
I know Julie Mango. Hi, Julia.
Oh, yes.
Is this somebody local? Is she in Antigua?
Yeah, she is.
Okay. I think I might know who Julie Mango is too. So Jen, go right ahead. Let's get the next comment.
I'm not sure how to. Somehow I got it up, but
Okay, go right ahead.
You go.
Okay, I'm not sure how to because
I'll put them up for you.
Okay, great.
I'm not sure. You probably can't. Go right ahead. There's one up now.
Oh yeah. There's just a lot of love. This one says, yes, she's a very accomplished woman. There's another one. I'll just continue to read if they don't show up.
Yes.
Inspiring and motivating. Lusting after the flesh is still mankind's greatest downfall. Not condemning anyone. I'm still struggling too.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another comment. Need more of these types of programs pushed access all platform in Antigua and Barbuda. Good stuff. Another comment that says the mind is a powerful tool.
Absolutely.
Andrea Nathaniel says, very inspiring and motivating presentation. Lusting after the human flesh is still mankind's greatest downfall. Not condemning anyone because I'm struggling too. Another one. And Julie Mango Phillip says, what time is the opening again, please? And she also says hi.
Hi. It's from 7
Tell
to
us
10.
about your opening again. Let's blow this up.
7 to 10 p.m. I'm ready for you guys. Y'all come and see my food. Sell out my food, and I have to go and hustle and go and get more ready for the next time.
Fantastic. This has been an amazing discussion. I mean, I've never, and I'm so glad, Genesis, that you were able to join us because you and Ashante definitely have a connection that I wouldn't have been able to take the conversation in that direction. So this was definitely meant to happen. So Genesis, let me give you an opportunity to give your closing words and we'll wrap up this evening's discussion.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Ashante. I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to learn about your work and to learn from you. I have so much confidence and excitement for the Antiguan food system in the long term, just because of the quality of food that you're offering to our community, as well as the philosophical, nourishing ideas as well. So thank you.
Thank you as well.
Great. And Ashante, any final words before we wrap up? I mean, you've given us a wealth of knowledge today that's so amazing.
Yes. I want to bounce off of what the person said about the human. We still lust off of the flesh, and one thing that metanoia does symbolize, and I think spinning off of what the Buddhists say, we have to understand that we have both dark and light in us, and we have a culture where we strive to be so perfect that it's really killing people. and
Mm.
I and I say this in the humblest way. We're slowly killing people because we chastise the mother, we chastise the people that are, drug addicts, the people that are obese, and we don't realize that there's a problem. And until we can all come together with compassion for each other and empathy, we are literally going to be killing ourselves slowly. And I also, and I get chills saying this, is every time we see somebody commit suicide, we then wonder, oh, they had help and they had this, but really and truly, if we can't help ourselves, how can we help somebody else? And in order for us to be impactful to our community, we have to start with ourselves. And that statement, charity starts at home, is very powerful. It has nothing to do with money, and it has everything to do with home being you, and how do you show up for yourself, and how do you take care of yourself. And this has been a journey specifically around myself. So everything you guys see I put out has nothing to do with just me being accomplished on paper, but how have I overcome my traumas and the things and the limiting beliefs that possibly I could have been dead by now based off of all the things that have happened, and pushing through that and overcoming all of that and becoming accomplished because I decided to make the choice for myself. So it really, if you're in that job and you don't like the job, what you doing? If you don't plan to get out of things that are not serving you, we are here to be joyful, to be true to who we truly are, and that's our goal, to tap into that. And that's what I'll say.
Fantastic. And what a way to end. Pronounce it for me again. Veganary.
Veganary, yes.
Veganary. What a wonderful way to end Veganary, to end the celebration of Financial Wellness Month, and to really tap into our resources as a people. Look at our history, contemplate where we are currently, and how much further we can go when we really look at our total well-being, whether it be financial, environmental. We didn't get to tap into the environmental aspect of it as much as I would have liked.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to food in our bodies and our physical health, that alone is a topic that we can continue to expound on. So Ashante, we wish you every success. You are you're a wealth of energy. I know you're going to do great things. We wish you every success as you continue to expand your business. I know you're not going to stop at the restaurant. I expect to hear I expect to hear that the restaurant had to move because it was just so,
it's beautiful.
It was just so,
it is the culture here.
Yeah.
It's just, we look at each other and think, yeah, all right, I have some power over you because I have money. And it's really, we don't understand that togetherness is better than just a little dollar in your pocket for a moment.
Absolutely. No, we go further when we go together. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together is what that African proverb says. So I want to thank all of our guests. I hope that we now are enlightened a bit more about veganism and the myriad of benefits that we can draw on from a vegan lifestyle. And also for those of you, this is a financial show. For those of you who are interested in becoming entrepreneurs, this is a whole new area that you might want to consider. And I think this is going to grow. I mean, Antigua typically trends or paces what the world trends are. And with the explosion of veganism around the world, we are a tourist destination. We're very, we're influenced by a lot of the habits and practices. And, we're just, we're an aware type of community, very media attentive. So I am sure that veganism will grow. And it sounds like we have a movement budding, and people like you, Ashante, are critical to that. So we want to thank everyone for being a part of our series this month on financial wellness. As you know, tomorrow is February 1st, and we start Black History Month. And last month, of course, in Antigua, 95% of us are Black. So Black history is our story. Our story is Black history. It's just a different chapter from the American history that people have grown used to. So last year we did a big feature on some of the generational businesses in Antigua and Barbuda that have been handed down. And every year, there are fewer of them being handed down. You can literally count on one hand how many generational businesses have made it past maybe the third generation in Antigua. And so we don't have a schedule yet of our shows for February. We're probably only going to have 2 shows, but we want to have a really big show. We're still firming up this guest that we think everyone will want to hear, because he represents generations of accomplishment and really looks beyond wealth as just being money. We know wealth goes much further than money. It's about our accomplishments, our goals, our activities. So we're going to take a look at, and to give you a hint, wealth is more than just a dollar. So if you think deeply, you can probably think about who we might be bringing on. So I see that our CEO just popped on. Let me bring her on. Hey, Megan.
Hey, how are you? I am so sorry I had to miss this very important session today.
It was phenomenal, mind-blowing. You have to go back. I want to say to everyone who has not, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you absolutely should do it, so that when conversations like this come up and you miss it, you can always go back, or you get the notification about the discussion that we have. Also, we have a weekly newsletter. It's chock full with financial insights and a lot of motivational content. If you're interested in getting our newsletter, send us an email, info@samuelfieldsconsulting.com. I encourage everyone to send us that email and also connect with us on social media, and especially YouTube. So I don't want to keep our guest any longer, and our listeners.
Thank you, Ashante.
Way past that hour. Ashante, thank you so much. We have so much we want to talk to you about off here. But wishing you every success. Genesis.
Mango.
Genesis, thank you so much for taking. I know you're
Thank you, Genesis.
Thank you so much for being a co-host today. You were phenomenal. We're gonna have to get you a raise. Promotion or something.
Awesome.
So to everyone who joined us today, definitely share the link. Go back and watch it on YouTube. This was a phenomenal interview and a phenomenal show. So we look forward.
Best of luck with your restaurant.
Yes.
Metanoia. I said it right?
Yes, you did. You got it right.
Okay, great.
So I don't believe we're going to have a show next Wednesday, but we will have a show later in the month celebrating Black History Month. And I was telling them that we're looking to book someone who is big time, someone phenomenal and everyone loves. So stay tuned if you're hooked into our. If you get our newsletter, well, even if we don't have the episode next week, our newsletter still goes out. We'll be in touch, and you'll be updated about the happenings with Likkle Byte Ideas and Samuel Fields Consulting Group. So to everyone, I know it's dinner time or time to get started on your evening. So thank you so much. Wishing you a great evening, and we'll see you very soon. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.